Okay, welcome back. We are now on the second level of the dungeon. We are one step closer, one pitiful step closer to reaching Xaskazien. We are still a level 1 character. My usual rule of thumb is that if your character level is at least equal to the dungeon level, you've got a fighting chance. This guy's in a little bit of danger, but not too bad. Often I get my character level quite a bit higher than my dungeon level, and that way I'm definitely secure. What can we see here? Heavy door. We already know what that is. We know what a telepad does. It'll take us somewhere. We know what an object is. We don't know what this is. It's another one of those things where if you step on it, it gives you the option of interacting, and if you do, it gives you certain effects. As you can see here, it could heal me, it could hurt me. I don't need to be healed. I don't need to be hurt. It could cure me of poison. I haven't got poison, so there's no gain there. I could become poisoned. That would suck. It could have a jelly in it. Again, it's another type of monster which would attack me. It could be a scrying fountain, which could reveal the entire map to me, but again, remember, without cartography skill, even getting a map wouldn't help me, so I would basically see an image that I couldn't interpret in the fountain, and that wouldn't help. So out of these first 6 options that could happen, literally none of them currently help me, and 3 of them would hurt me. On the other hand, out of the remaining ones, A, nothing could happen, that'd be fine, or I could gain strength, dexterity, or intelligence. So I may come back and grab that later, but because it could contain a jelly, and I don't want to be dealing with the jelly right now, I'm going to wait till later to do that. I hear a sound in the distance. I know what that sound is. It's a skeleton somewhere. A skeleton is a reasonably tough monster for a starting character to fight. I can hear another damsel too, unless it's another succubus. I'm going to head and look for that damsel in just a second. But yeah, bear in mind, we're down on the second level of the dungeon now. The monsters start to get a little bit tougher. Not much. I'll still be encountering potentially grublings and that sort of thing, but you never know. The deeper you go, the tougher and tougher the monsters get. I mentioned too that part of the thing that determines how high your spell points are is the dungeon level that you're at. Currently, if you're on dungeon level 1 till 10, it gives you a certain number of spell points. If you're on dungeon level 11 to 20, it raises that number up, or that multiplication up. I may change that later on. I may make it that, on second level it gives you like 1.1 times as many, and on the third level it gives you 1.2 times as many or something. That makes more sense to me. It just never occurred to me till today. There's that damsel. Unless she is a succubus, and she better not be. Let's find out. Oh. Ah, she was actually a damsel that time. And as you see, I leveled up. I gained 2 health. My health got restored. If it had been lower, it would be now up to this. I got 2 extra max health, so there we go. We have 32 instead of 30. We gained 10 attribute points, and we gained a skill point. So let's find out what all of that stuff is. Incidentally, it was smart perhaps to grab her, because as I said, if a monster had touched her first, she'd have been dead. On the other hand, because I know my health is going to come all the way back up to maximum when I go up a level, it might have been worth going to find a monster to fight, because even if it hurt me a great deal and then I killed it, if that gave me enough experience to go up, I get all that health back. Meanwhile, I didn't really gain that one benefit of going up a level because I wasn't missing any health. But okay, let's look and see what this means. We see now instead of attribute points 0, we have attribute points 10. Those are spent right here by clicking on any of these red squares. Any one of them I click on will transfer convert 1 attribute point into 1 point of that given stat. Now, given that I know that it requires a minimum of 30 in any category to gain at least basic skills there is a possibility I could learn a warrior skill through other means than just spending skill points. Sometimes you find books that teach them to you, for instance. But if I found a book that taught me that right now, it wouldn't do me any good because I have so little strength, I can't even learn basic warrior skills. So what I'm going to do is pump all 10 attribute points into strength. As you'll see though, if I click it once, it just converts 1. I have 9 attribute points left, 1 in strength. So you don't have to put them all into one category. I could put 1 here, 4 here, do the math, 4 here. That would be fine. But I'm not going to. I'm going to put all 10 into this by just clicking it 10 times, or just holding it down I think would work. There we go. And now you'll see the attribute points are down to 0. Those red symbols disappear. I've got 30 strength. But we also know we got a skill point, so let's take a look at that. In the skill, any of the skill tabs, you'll see down here skill points 1 instead of skill points 0. I know general skills cost me 1. I know mage skills cost me 1, but rogue 2, warrior 3. So I can't get a rogue skill or a warrior skill right now if I wanted to, but I don't really want to anyway. I also know that although I have enough skill points to advance, say, gem cutting to the expert level, because I don't have 90 max health, I can't really do that yet, right? So it's really, for me, I have an option of, if I want to spend the skill points now, which I do, I can only advance from the untrained to the basic level, either in general skills or mage skills. In this particular case, what I usually like to do as a first skill, you don't have to by any means, but it's my usual tactic, is I advance your traveling skill. And the reason for that, if we look at my inventory, again, we only have 5 slots. One of the best ways to get more slots is to raise your traveling skill. It's a general skill. At the basic level, instead of having 5 slots, you'd now have 10 slots. At the advanced, you'd have 15. At the expert, you'd have 20. The only way to get more than 20 is you have to find items that let you carry stuff like bags of holding, that kind of stuff. But for now, all I have to do is left-click the skill I want, traveling. Boom, it travels up to, it becomes basic rather. The skill points drops to 0, and if I go to my inventory, hey, I've got 10 slots, so I can carry a lot more now. That's a decent thing. So we're a little stronger now. We have a little more health as well. We automatically got that, and we can carry more stuff. There's another damned one of these big pits. In this case, it is a wide, open, spiked pit. Now, wide, as if it didn't say wide, it would require whatever it took to cross. I think it was 10% before when I had 20 strength. But because it's wide, it's actually a longer leap. It takes more strength to get across. In this case, I have slightly more strength. I have 30 strength instead of 20, but it still ends up netting me a 10% chance of actually making it across. So if I don't have to cross this, I don't want to. If I fell in, I would take 3 to 8 damage. I won't be poisoned this time because it's not a poison spiked pit, but it's still got a bunch of spikes in there, and I don't want to do that. Let's come down and talk about what this thing is. A forge. As you can see, it says, this square gives you a chance to repair damaged weapons and armor with the likelihood of success directly based on your repair skill. Success repairs the item by 25%, failure ruins the forge. My chance of success is 25%. The reason my chance of success is 25% is because I am completely untrained in the repair skill. That is a warrior skill, and if you build that up, then when you find these forges, you can repair your stuff a lot more successfully. I only have one item that could be repaired. That's my pitchfork. It's currently at 84% condition, so I'm not going to waste the forge right now because if I was successful, it would repair it back up by 25%, but it won't go past 100, at least not for a non-smith character. So it would only repair at 16% anyway. I'm not going to use it yet. That being said, as I said, he's only allowed to use light weapons. So I want to keep his light weapons in good shape, so I'm going to try to use it later. Odds are I'll fail, but for now I'm not going to bother. We really have 2 ways to progress then. I don't want to grab that object necessarily, do I? Yeah, what the hell? Let's see what it is. Ah, an unknown potion. We don't know what it'll do, but we have it. We can go through this. Oh, there's a wisp. Another one of those things. It's teleporting. Let's try and kill it if we can. Still have a 46% chance to hit. It still has a 30% chance to hit me. All I'm doing is passing my turn on it. That's fighting it. And I killed it. 60 experience points. Good. Yeah, I can try and go through this heavy door, or I could take the telepad. Let's see where the telepad leads out of curiosity. In relation to where we were, it's way over here. You'll see this area is all dark now. That's because I can't see what's there. I still remember what's there, so the map still shows up. But if there were monsters in here, I would have no clue right now. I can hear a grubbling somewhere around, another one of those guys. I can see through this crack in the wall, but you can't move diagonally. Neither can monsters. They can't actually pass through cracks like that. No monster can, nor can I. You just saw him move, apparently diagonally, by the way. I think he did. He didn't actually move diagonally, it's just because he's moving, at his speed he moved 2 squares, if I saw that right. He moved 2 squares and it moved left then down. But it wouldn't let him go through a crack. It's dead. The kobold, new monster, very weak monster, worth 10 experience. Very slow monster, nothing really to worry about, nothing special about it. It's of type goblinoid. Again, that's one of the types is goblinoid. But I'll just go kill it. It's not a threat. It's one of the weakest monsters in the game. There, it's dead. Did 2 damage to me before it died, but it's dead. There might have been something unique about that monster. I wasn't really paying attention. I hope there wasn't, and I didn't. No, I don't think there was. I thought I heard a sound effect of me picking up gems, but I didn't. Let's find out what this is. Ah, hide helm. Great, we have some armor. All right, let's take a look at that. If we go to our inventory, here's our hide helm. You'll see it's black because it can be equipped. Armor and weapons can be equipped. If I left-click it, that would equip it. Now you take a look at it. It has a lot of similarities with our pitchfork up here. Again, it tells us what type of thing it is. It's an armor. It is a light helmet. Because it's light, we know we're allowed to use it because we have basic armor use, as all starting characters do. It requires 30 strength. Well, hey, I now have 30 strength, so I could actually wear it. It's small. It takes up 1 inventory slot. Its condition is 52%. As you see, sometimes when you find items, they don't start at 100%. It's still an acceptable condition, but it's not as great as we might want it to be. Its base defense is 6. That is the number where, if I'm wearing it, watch my base defense right here is 0%. I click on hide helm, now I have 6%. That number gets subtracted from the monster's chance to hit me, as long as I'm wearing this hide helm. Every time it hits me, though, the condition is going to wear down. And even if it doesn't hit me, just being in combat can wear the condition down slowly. There are three... I use this word a lot in these videos, and I don't know why. I don't use it in day-to-day life often, but there are three overarching types of armor as well. You have helmets, breastplates, and shields. You can only have one of each type of armor equipped at a time. So this is our helm for now, helmet. If we found a better helmet, we'd have to take off this helmet if we wanted to wear that helmet. What is this? A liquor barrel. This square lets you drink with unknown results. You don't know what the hell the content of the liquor barrel is, but here's what it could do. I could regain spell points, but my dexterity would be halved for 60 turns. I could gain back health, but my strength would be halved for 60 turns. I could gain experience, but take damage. It depends on what type of alcohol is in it. Alcohol, if you find alcohol just laying around, not in a big liquor barrel, sometimes that... if you find liquor just laying around, it has an effect like a potion. You drink it once and it's gone. But unlike potions, A, you can tell what it's going to do before you use it, and B... it always has a negative side effect to go with the positive side effect. So it makes you feel good, but it hurts later too, right? The liquor barrel, I don't think it says it here, but it's also true that they have a limited number of uses. Usually it's quite a high number, but you don't know how many uses it actually has before the keg runs dry. I don't think I need it yet. I might come back for it later. Actually, there's nothing around me right now. I am going to risk it. I'm going to try and see what happens right now. This way, if there's a negative effect, there aren't any monsters bugging me right now. Hopefully I can avoid a combat for the time being. It caused brawn. If we look and see now what it was, it's an ale barrel. We now know what the contents are because we just drank some. It contains ale. When you drink it, it raises your strength by 50, but halves your dexterity for 60 turns. So for the moment, you'll see my strength is all the way up at 80. It would let me carry more gold. It would let me, if I quickly tried to learn a skill, a warrior skill, I could learn it at a higher level because my strength is higher. I don't have that ability to do that, but I could. And it also means I'll do a lot more damage when I hit. But on the other hand, I'm going to be hitting a lot less frequently because my dexterity is currently halved. Now, I talked about icons that pop up on the border of the screen here. You'll see them right here. If I point here, it tells me what this icon is. Increased strength. This icon indicates that your strength has been temporarily raised above its normal level. It will remain so for a further 59 turns. Versus dizzy. This icon indicates that your character is dizzy. While dizzy, your dexterity functions at half value. It will remain so for a further 59 turns. Now, if we keep pointing at this, let's step off the liquor barrel for a second, and just pass our turn. I'm going to hold down the 5 key. You'll see I'm passing my turn, and those turns are diminishing. I'd rather have my dexterity at full when I went to fight a monster than strength up for now. So I'm gonna sit in this corner until my drunkenness wears off. And there it is. And we're fine to move on again. At least I know what the content of that ale barrel is. If I need to get strong all of a sudden, I could go do it. This is an interesting looking pit. This here is a narrow snake pit. Narrow means the odds of getting across it are better than if it was, normal or wide. In this case, you can see my odds of successfully jumping across are actually 30% versus that 10% we saw for that wide open pit. In this case, though, it's a pit filled with snakes. If I fall in, there won't be any damage to me, but I will be poisoned automatically. For now, I don't need to cross this thing. Perhaps there's another route to get by it. You also see, even if I got across it, there's a pendulum blade I'd have to get across. So I'm not going to go that way for now. I'm going to head down here and see what this object is. Feather hat. It is another type of helmet. As you can see, my hide helm gives me 6 base defense. The feathered hat only gives me 2. It's not as good at defending. Might look a little snappier, but it's not as good at defending as the hide helm is. On the other hand, its condition is a little better. For the time being, I'm going to keep carrying it as well, because why not? I've got the inventory slots, but I'll probably end up dropping that at some point. I don't need 2 helmets, specifically. And we're at a dead end here, so there's no point in further exploring there. Another monster. This particular monster is called a homunculus. It's not a very powerful monster, but it does have some interesting special abilities. You can see its intelligence is automaton. It would have a difficult time if I went around a corner. It would bump into the wall trying to get to me. But I don't mind fighting it, to be honest. But you'll look down at my odds. What are my odds of hitting it? 0%. That is because the homunculus is a type of monster called a golem. You'll see it's listed as a diabolic. That's its overarching monster type. But in brackets, it's a golem. All golems share one special ability, and that is that they are only hurt if you hit them with spells, or if you find very special weapons that tell you specifically that they hurt golems. I don't have such a weapon. So if I was fighting it hand-to-hand, I could swing all day, and I will never cause it a single speck of damage. But what the hell, I've got ability to hurt it. I've got my Flaming Dart spell, so I'm gonna stand here. I'm not gonna just go toe to toe with it. I'm just gonna cast Flaming Darts by left-clicking Flaming Darts, and boom! I did 6 damage. I killed it. I got 30 experience, and it's dead. You'll note I only have 20 spell points left though. There's a kobold. I can take it hand to hand, no problem. Let me just go kill it. Good. The kobold dead. Let's see what's through this curtain. Nothing through the door. Not locked this time. I can just walk right through it. All right, we're up in another room. I didn't have to go through those problem areas before. Here's another liquor barrel. This one we don't know what it does though. Again, I'm not going to drink it at the moment. Here's papers. You know what that is? I'm going to go look at that right away. Mother of pearl. All right, what did we find? It is a booby trap. In this case, it is a cage trap, as it says right here. Now, if we point at my square, it tells me all about what the cage trap is. It says, you are confined to a cage. Attempting to leave will have your character try to pick the lock, provided your lock-picking skill is at least basic, and it tells you all about that. I don't have lock-picking skill, so I cannot pick this lock. That leaves me with the sole option of literally throwing myself against the bars, trying to break out. Just like trying to break through a locked door. Except for in this case, I don't have an option. Like, this is my only chance. If I can't get out of this cage, I'm either going to batter myself unconscious here trying to get out, or I'd have to just basically surrender and wait for a monster to come get me. I'm going to take a look and see what I'm carrying, though, because there might be some options about how to deal with this. In this case, what I'm seeing is, first of all, remember, I still have a light healing spell, so if I'm trying to throw myself against those bars and I'm getting too badly hurt, I can always try to cure myself. I also have that wand of healing to fall back on. Hopefully that would save me if my health got too low. You'll see, too, it tells me my chance of actually succeeding in breaking these bars is 10%. Every time I fail, I'm going to take a damage. Now, I have basically 27 chances to actually get through this without killing myself. But still, it's not great. So what I'm going to do right now, and I'll tell you why in a second, I'm going to actually heal myself once right now. I know I can heal back. I only need 5 health to get back to full. This can heal up to 6, but I'm still going to do it. Let me get some health back. There, I got my 5 back. I'm at 32. I'm at full health. The reason I did that is because I'm going to drink these potions. Now, I know one of the potential things this potion could be is a strength potion. It could raise my strength just like that ale barrel did. And geez, I wish I had that ale with me right now. And if I raise my strength, it'll make it easier to break these bars. So I'm going to drink the potion. The reason I cast light healing is another option this potion could be is it could be a mage potion, which would restore all my spell points. So it's better to use my spell points before I drink the potion. On the other hand, if this ends up being, say, poisonous, I no longer have enough spell points to cast Cure Poison. So there is a risk involved. But let's see what this first one is. Left click it, and it is acidic. Shitty. I just took 13 damage. So you'll see I'm down to 13, or down to 19 health. That was unfortunate. Before I drink the other one, I am going to use my wand of light healing. I'm going to try and heal myself right back up, just in case the other one is acidic too. Fail. Fail. Healed. What am I at? 28. Maybe I'll leave it at that. I still have one use in that wand if I need it. Let's find out what this potion does. Alright, restore my spell points. So I have 40 spell points back to cast light healing if I need it when I'm trying to break out of here. Now I'm just going to try and break out. I'm just going to use a keypad and keep pressing. Oh, look at that! 10%. My guy's more of a powerhouse than he thought. Boom. Very lucky break. That usually wouldn't happen. But I'll take it. He broke out of the bars. He's actually safe. Nice. You'll see the open cage stays there. It doesn't do anything else. I can walk right through it freely. But it stays there for graphical reasons. Over here we have what's called an apothecary cabinet. This is another one of those containers that can be locked. In this case, it's not. It tells you this square gives you the option of opening the cabinet once. Apothecary cabinets may be empty, but they may contain multiple potions. There's a 10% chance any apothecary cabinet may be trapped. I'm going to risk it. I just got lucky with my other 10%. I have a 90% chance this is not trapped. I open it, and what do I find? Not trapped, and there's an unknown potion in it. There's another unknown potion in it, and that's it. 2 unknown potions. So I basically got my unknown potions back. I'm not going to mess with this liquor barrel right now. Mainly because my volume is turned down really low and I can't tell if there are monsters around me or not. There's that temple we need. As I said, every level has one of those. Here's the stairs to the next level, but we're not going to take it right now. I can walk on them and just say, no, I don't want to descend. And I can keep going past it. Through the doorway. Ah, another container. This is exactly like that apothecary cabinet, but the armament locker, instead of containing potions, could contain weapons and armor. It could be trapped the same way. A 10% chance. So I'm going to risk it. Let's see what we find. We found a feathered hat of trap spotting. Okay, that's it. That was in there. Now we have 3 helmets. We have our hide helm, which protects us with 6 defense. The Feathered Hat of Trap Spotting is no better than the Feathered Hat for protecting me. It gives me only 2 defense. On the other hand, A, it's in better condition, but B, it gives me a 25% chance to disarm booby traps. So like when we stepped on that cage trap, if we'd been wearing this hat, there's a 25% chance the cage wouldn't have fallen on us. A 75% chance it would have. But I'm going to switch to that for now. I might switch back. If I'm about to get into combat, I'll put back on my better combat helm. For now, though, I'll wear the Feathered Hat, just in case these things turn out to be trapped. Let's see if this thing is a trap or not. Nope. A low power scroll. Again, we don't know what it'll do until we click it because our runic lore skill is too low. I'm going to grab up this gold while I'm here. Pick up the gold, yes. That's all I'm going to take for now, because if you look at it, it tells you how much you'll find. I'll find 1 to 20 gold pieces, because I'm now in dungeon level 2. If I found 20, I can only carry a total of 30. That would give me 33. I'd be wasting gold, so I'm not going to pick up the second one right now. I'll go deposit it in the temple, and then I'll go pick up the other one. Right click over here, left click over here. There we go. Alright, we haven't explored here yet. Let's see what's over here. It's a big empty room. And there's that skeleton we were hearing earlier. Now if you look at him, he's actually pretty tough. But remember, we're playing a necromancer character. The great thing about necromancers is they get 200 extra defense points versus skeletons. So normally, this skeleton with an attack level of 50 would be able to hit me pretty easily. Right now, there's no way it can. I'm actually going to take off my Feathered Hat of Trap Spotting, because remember, armor takes wear and tear during combat. And right now, I don't need it. He has a 10% chance to hit me. That ain't going to get any better or any worse, no matter how much armor I'm wearing. So I'm just going to walk on him, and I'm actually just going to go hand-to-hand with him. A few things to point out, though. Look at his resistances. 100% resistant to toxins, which means if I had a weapon or something that caused disease, or if I was casting a spell at him that caused disease or poison, he's 100% resistant to that, so there'd be no point, but I'm not doing that. Next to that, though, you see 25% next to a little sword, and that means a 25% resistance to physical damage. Because he's skeletal and he's dead, hitting him with my pitchfork isn't as effective as hitting something that's alive and can actually bleed. So in this case, every time I hit him, whatever damage I do to him is reduced by 25%. That's why you'll see my odds to hit him, are still 46%, but I only do 0 to 2 damage every time I hit. So I can actually hit him and not even hurt him, because he's a skeleton. In this case, I hit him for 2 damage, he hit me for 3, he missed me. Keep fighting him. There, he's dead. And there's 70 experience points for me. I forgot I was a necromancer. That's actually a very useful thing to meet when you're a necromancer. Alright, we have a couple of papers here. I'm going to put back on my trap spotting hat. Give me a bit of an edge in case these are traps. I'm even going to use my wand of healing again, just to get a bit more health before I do, just in case I do spring a trap. And let's see what this is. Ah, spell book. I find a hypnotic trance spell book, but my inventory is full. I want that. So what I need to do is go into my inventory, drop something for a moment. I'm going to drop the Wand of Light Healing just for a moment. It's gone. Now I pass my turn in my square, I can retrieve the objects, and I want to pick up the spell book, Hypnotic Trance. Now if you look at the spell book, it tells you what it does. It's a mundane item. That just means anybody can use it. Its size is small, it takes up 1 inventory slot. I can left click it though to learn the contained spell, destroying the spell book. The contained spell is Hypnotic Trance, which is a mid-power spell, costing 40 spell points. Anytime I cast it, this spell permanently halves the defense value of the monster you are fighting. Now I am going to learn it. To learn it, I press left click. There, I've learned the spell. Do I want to retrieve the discarded objects? Yeah, I'm going to pick up the Wand of Lighting even though it's empty. But I want to show you now, if I go to my mid-power spells, there's Hypnotic Trance. I now know it forever. Now there's a catch to this. I now know 4 spells. There is a skill, a mage skill, called Memory. Your memory skill dictates how many spells you're allowed to have in your spell book. Currently, I don't have a very good memory, just like real life. I'm completely untrained in memory, so the maximum number of spells allowed in my spell book is 7. I currently have 4. But all I have to do is raise the memory skill later on, and I'd be able to learn more. But if you're playing a type of character who, you know you're not going to be using high power spells, either because you can't, ever, or because you're just not going to train in that direction, don't bother learning high power spells because you're eating up inventory, or you're eating up spellbook slots that could be better spent on something else. Alright, let's see what this paper is. Another spellbook, a Create Object spellbook. I'm also going to learn that, only because my character is a spellcaster, and this is a really good spell. Spellbook, Create Object. Let's learn it. Left click it, and I'll show you what it did in 1 second. Let me pick back up my wand first. Alright, let's go to a high power spells, because that's what that one was. We now have 1 high power spell as well. As you can see, it costs 210 magic to cast, spell points to cast. And it actually requires 210 intelligence to use. So I'm not going to be casting the spell anytime soon. But assuming I can survive very late in the game, this will help me out. It's a spell that creates a brand new weapon or armor for me out of thin air. Whether it's a weapon or armor is chosen randomly, what the weapon or armor is chosen randomly, but essentially it finds me a weapon or armor every time I cast it. So that can be really, really useful later on. The weapons wouldn't help me so much, because by the time I can cast it, I'll be very low in the dungeon, and the weapons I find will be very powerful, and I won't be able to use them, but the armor could sure help. For now, I'm going to go back to my telepad, and boom, here I am back over here by the fountain. I'm still not going to use it, not yet. Let's go through the heavy door. As you can see, it takes me a few tries to get through it because my strength is still pretty low. There, we're through it. Ah, Wheel of Fortune. For those gamblers out there, you step on this, it gives you an option of gambling all your treasure. If you have untrained gambling skill, a lot of skills, eh? This is a rogue skill. Your actual chance to win at a Wheel of Fortune is better than real life. Your odds of winning is 50-50. It gambles all your treasure. You don't get to place a certain amount of bet. Whatever you're carrying gets gambled. If you're successful, it would give you, I think it's double your money. Is that right? Odds of winning are the odds of winning and value of winning is based on your gambling skill. If we go here, there's a 50% chance I'll win my value in gems, a 50% chance I'll lose all my treasure. What that means is, yeah, I would gain, if I had 10 gold and 3 gems, say, I had 13 worth of treasure. If I won, I get to keep that, and it would pay me out 13 gems. It doesn't pay you in gold, because otherwise you might just be dropping it if your strength wasn't high enough. I don't have anything to gamble anyway. If I try and say yes, it'll say, well, it gives me that no noise. If your gambling skill is higher, though, these things are pretty rare. You encounter them maybe 1 out of every 10 levels. But by raising your gambling skill, where the hell was that? Not only is your odds of winning going up, but how much you win goes up. At the highest level, instead of gaining what you would gain, you would actually gain 3 times as much. So in that same scenario, if I had expert gambling skill and I won, instead of winning 13 gems, I would win 39 gems. And your odds of winning also increase. So instead of having a 50-50 chance, I'd have an 80% chance of winning. But I don't have that right now, and I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, let's go look around here. There's a chest. We know what that does. I'm not going to open it just yet. More gold. Sure, I'll pick that up. And I'm going to run that gold all the way back to the temple before I open that chest, because that chest will contain gold, and I don't want to be carrying more than, I don't want to find more than I can use. So I'll go to the telepad. From the telepad, I can get back to that temple. I'll go back to the telepad. Apparently there's no more monsters on this level. I'm not seeing any or hearing any. And now I'm going to open that chest and see what the hell is inside it. Open the chest. Yep. We found 2 gold pieces. 2 measly gold pieces. But I'm going to go gamble that. Maybe we can turn that into a small fortune. Probably not. Do I want to use it? Yeah. So I'm risking my 2 gold pieces. And I lost them. Oh well. Big deal. The last things I want to do, I'm going to use this fountain in a second, but I want to use this this forge first. In case I have to get away in a hurry, I don't want to have to be dicking around, coming back and looking at the forge. Actually, I'm going to search up here first. I haven't seen up here. Oh, no, I haven't. There's a pit up there. I don't want to go through that. There is this, though. I'm going to actually go... Can I get there? No, I got to go through the telepad. I'm going to go up here to this heavy door and try and walk through it, just in case there's something through here. Oh, there is, actually. A little area I can get to. Let's see what this object is. There's that meat I was talking about. It's uncooked beef. I'm not going to take it, but if I did take it, you may cook the uncooked beef once by left-clicking it, but you may only do so while you're standing on a cooking fire, as we already talked about. This transformed it to a cooked version with results based on your cooking skill. Eating cooked beef will restore your health. So unlike the mutton I talked about, which will permanently raise your strength, beef basically acts like a healing potion. Depending on how well you've cooked it, it gives you back more and more health. But A, there's no cooking fire around here to cook it on, so it would just be taking up an inventory slot. And B, I think the one thing I would probably drop... Actually, I will. I will drop my feathered hat. I have my feathered hat of trap spotting and my hide helm. I don't need all of that. I'll drop my feathered hat, and I will pick up the beef in the hopes that I find a cooking fire where I can cook it. Alright. Now I'm going to head back to that telepad. From there, I'm going to go to the forge, and I'm actually going to try and fix stuff. Do I want to use it? Yes. That brings me to the repair screen. I can pick anything I want to fix that is a weapon or armor. Those are the only 2 things that have conditions. Those are the only 2 things you can actually fix. I can pick whatever I want, but remember, because I have such crappy repair skill, my odds of actually... let me get back on it again. my odds of actually repairing are only a 25% chance. There's a 75% chance that I'm actually going to break the forge in the process and not be able to repair. So I want to prioritize. What do I want to repair most of all? My pitchfork is damned important, but it's still only at 78%. I want that hide helm, I think, is the lowest condition of everything. I'm going to try and repair that by left-clicking it. And I broke the damned forge, see? So it's not any better, and the forge is broken. I need to get my repair skill up, which is not likely to happen for this gnomish necromancer. I could find a repair spell or a repair scroll or stuff, though. Or even there are people who will do it for money if I meet them. Alright, let's go to that fountain and use it. What the hell happens here? Good luck. It's poisonous. That would suck. As you can see, that's worthwhile to illustrate stuff, though. First of all, the potion, or the fountain no longer works. You can only drink out of it once. Secondly, my health has turned green. That's just to remind me visually that I have poison. And if that wasn't enough, you can see right here that I'm poisoned. And while I'm pointing here, it tells me how much damage I'll take. Actually, it wasn't 10%. You lose 5% of your max health every 10 turns, as long as you're poisoned. Now, there's a chance that the poison will leave my system. That chance is based on yet another skill, your poison resistance. Poison resistance is a skill you can level up that A, gives you a chance not to become poisoned in the first place. So my poison resistance had been at expert level. It's untrained, so it has no effect in terms of avoiding poison. But if I was expert, when I got poisoned just now by drinking out of the fountain, there's a 75% chance I wouldn't have been poisoned. A 25% chance I still would have. But on top of that, the odds of the poison actually leaving your system are based on your poison resistance skill. Everybody has a 5% chance. Every 10 turns, there's a 5% chance the poison leaves your system. But if you have basic level, that increases by 3. If you have advanced, apparently it increases by 6, and at expert it increases by 9. So it would be a 14% chance every 10 turns that it left your system if your poison resistance was high enough. But I'm not even going to wait to see if it leaves my system, because I have these extra spell points. And I know I have Cure Poison, so all I have to do is click this on. Boom. Poison is gone. I'm totally done with that. It did unfortunately lose some spell points that I would have otherwise spent on healing myself. Now there is one last thing I want to do before I leave, and that is that I realized we didn't sample this liquor barrel. There's a chance it could be mead. Mead will heal me, and yes, it'll have a negative effect, but that negative effect probably won't bother me much because there's no monsters I have to worry about fighting, so I can just sleep off the effects of most alcohols. Let's find out what's in this barrel by sticking our mouth under the spigot and drinking. Ah, yeah, apparently it was wine. Wine restores your spell points. As you can see here, every time I drink, it restores 6 to 72 spell points, but it halves my dexterity for 60 turns. If I try and drink again right now, by the way, it won't let me. The reason is I'm too dizzy. You have to get rid of this dizziness first. If I put my text prompts all the way down to basic, maybe even an intermediate, I don't know, and I try to drink from it, it'll actually tell me what the problem is. You're too dizzy for more wine right now. Okay, let's put them back up to expert. But that being said, I did get back some spell points, enough to cast Light Healing again, so I'm going to do that right now. And then I could just go in a corner and stand around waiting for it to pass, but a faster way to make it go away is just to left-click an area and walk back and forth. It's a little risky, because if there had been a pit trap or a cave-in in here, I'd be triggering it. But there, in real time, it's a faster way to get rid of the effects. So I'm going to drink again. I can keep doing this until it runs dry or until I have no more need of it. Now I got back 11 spell points. That's enough to cast it again. I'm going to keep doing this until I'm all the way healed. And I'm all the way healed. So I'm going to head over to the staircase. I'm not going to go down until my dizziness subsides. Actually, I'm going to run... No, I'll run up to here. What the hell? Run to the temple and just run back and forth here. Until the dizziness is gone. Running around in circles. I had a cousin once who got really drunk and then ran around in circles to try and wear off the effects of alcohol. It didn't work as fast as this is working. I don't think it worked at all, actually. I think he got more dizzy. Alright, I'm going to climb down to the next level, and we're going to call that, again, another video. I will see you later if you're still curious to follow the adventures of Yorick McGarren. To be honest, you've seen most of what the game is about by this point. You're going to see new items pop up, new monsters pop up, new features pop up, but what the game is about, you probably have a good sense now, so only tune back in if you're excited to see if Yorick can survive. It would be amazing if, coincidentally, the one time I make it in the last, make it all the way to the end in the last many months is the one time I decide to record the video. Not likely, but we'll see.